and welcome to the Pink Chair Show. My name's Annie Lobert, and this show is about raw, relevant, and real issues and bringing solutions to the table from a woman's perspective. Today is a great day because I have kind of an old friend in the audience in the studio today. I've known her for about a decade. Today I have Jennea Welch. Jennea! Yay!
Oh
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You are such a young lady now.
I know.
Like, how old are you?
21
Okay.
and a half.
And a half. Oh, you're waiting to count it down. So some of you might not know this, but Jennea was raised in a band atmosphere. Her dad is actually Brian Head Welch from Korn.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows all the downfalls and the upfalls of stardom, watching her father basically fall from grace and then God just picking him back up and witnessing everything. And because of that, which is pretty amazing, she's had her own journey. Mm-hmm. So that's why I wanted you here today, because I have actually, from meeting you for the first time over a decade ago, maybe it's been longer, I've just watched you grow into a different person. Mm-hmm. From being a young girl. I can't believe you were that young when I met you. And so sweet. And I just thought, man, she's just so cute and innocent. And you just seem so happy and carefree, and not realizing that in the back scene of things, you were searching for significance and meaning.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So can you kind of unpack that, Jennea, about just, what it was like to be in that situation with your dad and growing up, and then having your mom and dad break up and go for it.
I mean, I think the most influential, honestly, negatively, the most influential thing that happened in my life was my mom leaving.
Right.
She struggled with childhood trauma, and she just didn't know any better. Right. She just knew to flee when things got hard.
Fight, flight, or freeze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so she left right around 3, and my dad, it was the peak of where Korn was. And so he was just like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't really have a choice. So he brought me on the road.
Yeah.
And
he wanted to be your dad. He wanted you in his life.
Exactly. But while wanting to be my dad, he had this crazy, insane life of basically like a circus life, like living on a bus and playing the same show over and over.
Did you sleep on the bus too?
I did.
Did you have your own bunk?
Yes.
Wow.
And I watched movies. There's some really good memories, but there was also some hard stuff too.
Right.
Just,
you saw people doing drugs at all, or drinking a lot?
Not drinking a little bit. Drugs, no. Everyone was really good at protecting me. I saw some like naked women every once in a while.
Of course, that's rock star life.
I know. Yeah, chicks in the crowd making out, whatever. And so there was just some exposure to that stuff that kids just shouldn't be around. But my dad was doing the best that he knew. So
right. Did you feel like you were? Because I know what it's like to have a mother's love, because I've never not had my mom's love, but to not have that connection with your mom anymore like you used to, even though you might not have remembered it as a young girl, did that affect you in a negative way?
100%. It affected my self-esteem, the way that I viewed relationships in general, how I interacted with my friends and my peers, and really created abandonment issues, like what if this person leaves, then what am I going to do? And feeling like I had to build walls to protect myself.
Right.
And so.
Did you, honestly think that God was real back then? Did you, when your dad got totally radically saved, were you like, I don't know if I'm buying this right now. This is so weird. Like, what's he doing?
You know what? So my dad found God when I was 5 years old, 5 or 6, and I thought it was just the best thing ever. I thought like Jesus was the reason that my dad quit Korn for me. You know what I'm saying? Like
and he did say that.
Yeah,
he needed to help you and save his daughter.
Exactly. And so Jesus was this amazing new thing that brought my dad to me again. And so of course I have this memory of, we were at a hotel once and I didn't have any friends with me, and so I pretended that Jesus was with me in the pool, and I held his hand. Seriously, and I was just like imagining like Jesus just playing with me in the pool.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, but I think when I was 11 or 12, I was really starting to feel the pain and the trauma that I went through as a kid.
Right.
And I wasn't just experiencing anymore. I was hurting from it, you know? And so that's when I started to question Jesus and Christianity and what it even meant, and if it even saved my dad, if it even, you know, he was going through all sorts of lawsuits, and everyone he loved left, you know what I'm saying? And so, and I was like, okay, so if the reason why my dad left was because of God, why would I want to follow God anymore? Because it brought all this pain.
Yeah. So part of following God, we all know now, is we follow Jesus because we follow him because we believe that he died for our sins, and also that our life will be eternal with him. But part of that guarantee is that we will not be subject to, we're not going to have a perfect life, because we're here in the world, and so there's a lot of sin here, and there's a lot of pain, and that's the hard part to accept. That's where a lot of people, most Christians, fall off. I mean, it makes sense. It's like you were seeing it from a child perspective anyway. And you know what's really great about that is that I believe that Jesus saw right where your heart was, and he understood it.
100%.
And I know you started to, you know, question if Jesus was real, right? And you started to do your own journey. And so when we come back, I want to talk about that. And it wasn't a pushing of your dad. It wasn't a pushing of anyone around you per se, right? It was like something happened in your heart, didn't it? Where you were like, I gotta get down to the bottom of this.
Yeah. 100%.
And dig it out and just cut it off.
100%.
So we'll talk about that when we get back. You guys cannot miss this. We are going to discuss what happened with Jennea's heart and how Jesus came into the center of her heart and changed her life for good. Be right back. Hi, I'm Annie Lobert from the Pink Chair Show. Some of you might know about our ministry. It's called Hookers for Jesus. Yes, Hookers for Jesus, based on Matthew 4:19. I will teach you how to fish for people. Because listen, everyone, ladies and even young boys and young men are trapped in sex trafficking. It's in our own backyards. It's in Las Vegas. It might be even your own city. You won't even realize it. Could be someone next door that's being trafficked. And I started this ministry in 2005, reaching out to the ladies that were just like me, that needed help to get away from their traffickers and into a safe place. And that's how Destiny House program was created. And it's a place where girls can come and dream again and get rid of their nightmares, discover who they are, and develop into the women of God that God originally planned for them, for their ultimate destiny, to go outside and change the world for good. And every single day we are in need of donations and volunteers. It is not free to run this program. The ladies have 24/7 care. At the Destiny House, ladies have a chance to heal from their complex trauma. We have cooking, equine therapy, artwork, classes, life skills, Bible studies, everything that girls need to heal from their trauma. We are in need of donations all the time. We're in need of new partners. If you'd like to donate to our organization and help these ladies restore their lives back to society, you can go to hookersforjesus.net and click on donate. It'll take you to PayPal or SecureGive. And we are just so thankful for your partnership and helping us all be a part of ending sex trafficking. Hi, and welcome back to the Pink Chair Show. Today is such an awesome day because I have in the studio a beautiful, intelligent, creative, and fantastic woman of God. I met her when she was not a woman yet. She was still a teenager. Her name is Jennea Welch. And Jennea, I'm just so happy you're here.
That was a most amazing intro.
That's right. It's flattery, girl, and it's real because you are that person.
Thank you.
You know, ever since the day I met you, I just remember you just being so sweet. And it's like you had always in your heart like this, it was like an innocent motive. You never wanted to do anything crazy. And that's like, yeah, when things started kind of going where you were trying to search where Jesus was and is he real, I honestly, I was like, you know, she's going to find her way. She's going to make it. Even though the stats say a lot of rock stars and let's say actors and people that are very famous, their kids, and even pastors, right? The pastors' children usually end up in a really bad place trying to find their way. And that's normal. That's so normal. And then some of them, unfortunately, and I could name a bunch of different famous people where their sons or daughters took their own lives.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you didn't do that.
Thank you.
So you're here and you're in the flesh, and it's like, yes, God did something great. So tell us, we talked about this before the break, about how Jesus got a hold of your heart. And you started to really, really see his love for you.
I was so stubborn. He used all these ways to try to get to me and try to reach me for me, and not just through my dad or whoever was trying to be an impact, you know, because I heard it all, you know what I'm saying, and
You're like, don't tell me anymore. I already know that.
Seriously, and so I wanted something that was real and attainable, and I wanted something that I could see the progress instead of just people telling me on the surface. I wanted real. I wanted connection. And so, oh my God.
What happened to you? Because you know what? Remember? You ended up going somewhere because you just knew that you couldn't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
And your dad wanted you to do that too, didn't he? Right.
So my dad found a boarding school called Awakening Youth in Lafayette, Indiana. Tiffany Claywell is the founder.
And she's awesome. I've met her.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing. And
she's a great lady.
Her heart is just for teenagers who have lost a parent to addiction, divorce, death, or adoption. And so I qualified, basically. And so my dad met Tiffany and was just like, can you take her?
And how old were you?
I was 14.
Yeah. Okay. That's when things were starting to go woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
Woo. And what were some of the things you were doing? Like, were you dressing different? What were you acting different? What were you doing?
Depression was pretty heavy. Just staying up all night, waking up at 1 o'clock, self-harm, cutting, burning, you know, just
trying to get the pain out.
Yeah, exactly, because I didn't have the words to say it. And so, just some of those.
Complex trauma. Yeah. That's a subset of complex trauma that you were experiencing that. So it doesn't mean there was something wrong with you. You were just manifesting that pain in the only way that you understood how to do it. Yeah. And isn't it crazy? Because in the Bible it talks about the man that was in the cave, that was in the Gadarenes, he was like cutting himself. Did you know that? He was cutting himself. Wow. And he said he wasn't in his right mind. So is it possible that man that Jesus freed had some emotional trauma, terrible complex trauma issues, and that he just couldn't figure it out, and Jesus came and set him free? So in other words, you kind of were like a female version of him in a way, without realizing it probably, that you're just like, you started cutting yourself and depressed, stayed up all night. And so what was it like when your dad presented this to you? Because were you willing, or were you like, I'm not going to that school?
Literally, he didn't even tell me we were going until we were in the building. Well, actually,
Bill, I would have been mad at him, dude.
Well, you know what? It was actually like a home, and so we met people all over. We always traveled and saw people. So he said, we're gonna see some friends. Okay, whatever. And so I met Tiffany, she showed us around, and then he was like, Jennea, you're gonna stay here. And so lost my mind, whatever, because it triggered pain in me that I was being abandoned.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it took me a while to really accept it.
Okay, so he told you, and then you saw the house, and you got shown your room, right?
Basically. Well,
and when he left, what happened? Were you screaming and chasing the car? I mean, I want to know what happened. Like,
no, I was, I think after I had a meltdown, of course, when he told me. I was like looking for exits, and after the anger came, it was just sadness, you know, and so I just accepted it. I was just like, okay, like I almost craved it. I almost craved it because I wanted friends my age that loved me for me and not just head's daughter. I wanted consistency and going to school and stuff. I wanted that, but I also liked I almost liked being depressed. Because it felt comfortable.
Yes, it's a pillow.
Yeah.
No matter what anyone says about depression, no one will understand it unless they've actually been there. And it's been their friend. Depression's been their friend because
Right.
it never leaves us because we don't want it to at the time. We're like, it's our friend and we're not going to let it go.
Yeah.
And so you met new friends that were your age, and did they know that you were Brian's daughter, or was that a secret that was kept for a while?
Actually, yeah, they did, and it didn't change anything. Because they didn't really know who Korn was, and so it was just like, oh, that's Jennea, and so they loved me for me, and that's all I wanted. And
Right.
so, yeah.
And then what was it like? Like you said that you got there, and I know this is going to take a minute for you to unwrap, so we'll come back, but I wanted to just know, when was the first time you surrendered? Do you remember? Like, where you're like, Jesus, take the wheel all the way.
Actually, it was within the first month of me being there. I remember I was in my bunk bed. It's a one room full of 12 girls, and I was writing it in my notebook. And I just said, I wish I had the notebook, but I said, Jesus, like, I want the childlike relationship that I used to have with you. I'm tired of.
I want it back.
I'm tired of trying to do things on my own because it's not working. And so I just asked him, and since then it's just been incredible, just incredible.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome, because it sounds like, I mean, this is what happens to newer Christians sometimes, is as soon as you pray, you get what you ask for.
Yes.
And Jennea, that might not happen all the time in the way that it did, but I'm so happy that it did happen, because I actually have prayed that prayer too. Even recently, I was with my girlfriends in the car after a strip club outreach. We were up in Minnesota, and I said, ladies, let's pray. And one of the things that came to mind was, I said, God, bring back the joy of my salvation. Like the childlike faith, like bring back what I felt when I first met you, because it was so awesome, right? That feeling is better than drugs, like better than sex, anything. It's like, boom, not that you would know anything about that, but so we'll come back. You guys don't want to miss. We're going to talk about what Jennea is doing now that she's a lady, 21 years old, woman of God. See you soon. Hi, I'm Annie Lobert from the Pink Chair Show. I wrote a book called Fallen Out of the Sex Industry and Into the Arms of the Savior. And actually, Fallen was my old name when I used to work on the Las Vegas Strip as a sex trafficking victim. This book also was written in Spanish. And we also have the audio book that is all available on our website. If you click on the picture of the book, you'll hear me narrate the entire story. The story is about my journey being a sex trafficking victim, from total wrecked life to complete restoration in Jesus. And out of my journey came a wonderful ministry called Hookers for Jesus. You heard that right. Hookers for Jesus, based on Matthew 4:19. I will teach you how to fish for people. I was going to the Strip, picking up ladies that needed help to get away from their traffickers, and there was nowhere to put them. So we created the Destiny House program. And it's a place where ladies can come and dream, discover, and develop who they are and the purposes and plans God has for them in their life. We always are in need of volunteers and donations. It's not free to run this home. We are a nonprofit, and we would love for you to partner with us. You can go to hookersforjesus.net and simply click on the PayPal or the Secure Give Donate button. We would love for you to join us in the fight against sex trafficking in Las Vegas and in our country. Thank you. Welcome back to the Pink Chair Show, and I'm Annie. And today I have Jennea Welch in the audience studio, and I just wanted to, Jennea, thank you so much for coming on, because your story is so powerful. Because I think that one of the things that I love about it is that the reconciliation between not just you and Jesus, but you and your dad. It's so important. So we were talking about you writing while you're in the boarding house, Awakening Youth, which is a great program. Everyone look it up. It's in Indiana. And you were writing down, Jesus, I just want that relationship I had with you, that same relationship I had with you when I was little. And so he pretty much answered your prayers like right away? Or was it like a gradual, daily?
So gradual and daily, and learning and pain and crying, and a lot of counseling went into it too.
Right.
I think Jesus really showed himself through Tiffany, my counselor, my mentor.
Like she was like a mom figure to you, an
Basically,
auntie, a big sister.
Yeah, and you know, her being consistent in my life and being open to talking about real things that I went through. Jesus really showed himself through that.
Yeah, the love of God. I mean, literally the love of God.
Yeah.
And so no matter what, even though you strayed, I mean, it says in Romans 8:28, all things work together for those who love God and are called according to their purposes. And I really believe that, you know, your dad and your relationship is just a total testimony to God's love and how he wants to have a relationship with us. And so you went through that program and then you graduated, right? And so what were you thinking about? Like, what should I do with my life? I mean, did you end up touring with your dad? I know you guys filmed. You guys just got done doing that movie about a year ago.
Oh,
Crazy Loud Love. I love that name, by the way.
Loud Crazy Love.
Or Loud Crazy Love. Loud Crazy Love. What does that pertain to, by the way? What does that mean to you?
Loud Crazy Love just means not giving up on the people that you love and being persistent and knowing that there's hope.
Right. And so you're not saying no to them, even if they act crazy, or, you know, it's kind of like the girls at the Destiny House. Like if someone messes up, we just don't automatically throw them away and say, oh, well, you're worthless now. And you won't matter anymore because you don't do what I want to do. So because that God's love isn't like that. His love is unconditional. And he sees us right where we're at. So he saw you right where you were at. And he sees the end from the beginning, like your rebellion. And I remember that stage. And I told you earlier when you first sat down, oh my gosh, you're 21, Jennea. Like seriously, when I was 21 in Las Vegas, I was being sex trafficked. Was I even thinking about Jesus? No. I cannot imagine the wonderful things that are ahead of you in your future. Seriously. Because you're 21 and you like literally have your whole life ahead of you. So I that's what I wanted to ask you was, well, what is your next steps? Like you did this movie about your, just about your whole story growing up in Korn, being Korn's daughter and being in the limelight, you know, in the pictures and traveling with the band and witnessing things and then seeing your dad make a change and you're just like, whoa, is this real? Is it not? And then you finally, because of his journey, because what if he never went through that journey? Would you be who you are now? Like, I can't imagine what would have happened to you.
I mean, I think God is so big and he would have weaved his way somehow, but yeah, it would have been a very different scenario.
And we don't know. Like I said earlier, you could have ended up a drug addict. You could have ended up, you know, pregnant or who knows, homeless on the street, you know, trafficked. Who knows? Vulnerability sets in when you're hurting. And so you were healed from, and we're all still healing from trauma, complex trauma. You went to counseling and thank God for Awakening Youth that it's what an awesome program. And I've met the founder and you ladies came to Destiny House that day and she's wonderful. Tiffany's great.
Yeah.
And so you decided to do what after you graduated?
Well, I realized that I really loved the arts, you know, and I really wanted to share my story of hope and redemption. And so I went into, there's a college called Full Sail University, and I took creative writing for entertainment. And so I'm almost done with my bachelor's. So.
Wow. And so how many years you've been going?
Since 2016.
Wow.
Right
so
when I finished school.
3 years almost. Oh, it's at the end of this year and you're going to have your bachelor's soon. And how hard has it been for you? Like, did you ever feel like giving up at all?
Oh, all the time.
Like, oh my gosh, how many dissertations do I have to do now?
Yeah,
what?
right.
How many term papers? What?
Especially being so young, and even when you turn 18, it's like, oh gosh, there's so much anxiety about how you're gonna make money, what are you gonna do, who are you gonna marry, you know, just things. And it was very hard, but I made it through.
And you're single.
I'm actually dating a boy right now.
You are?
Yeah, I am. Oh my gosh.
Does everyone know already?
He's sweet. His name is Zach,
Okay.
and he's also a musician, and he's amazing. He's so sweet.
That's awesome. Well, you know, God can restore anything, and I wanted you to also, you know, share about what do you think that you really want to do, like you want to do with your life, like Obviously, you're an artist. You want to write. But you were telling me something backstage. You'd like to speak. You'd like to share your story with everyone and
Absolutely.
and help people. Like
Yeah.
now your heart is to help other girls like you.
Yeah.
Or it could be a young kid, young boys that are struggling with their parents being gone and being addicted, because we know that the biggest drug nowadays is heroin and meth combined.
100%.
So that's really awesome. So if anyone wants to find you, they need to go where?
Well, if you go to Instagram or Facebook, just find me under Jennea Welch and just message me under there. And also awakeningyouth.org, you can also reach me through the boarding school organization. So.
That's awesome. Okay, so the last thing. I know this is like a stressful thing, but maybe not for you. What could you say to, let's say it's a girl your age that when you were struggling, that just wants to give up, and she's depressed, and depression is her pillow now, and she's cutting herself, and she's just stuck, and she wants to run away. What would you say to her? You can talk to that camera and tell that camera if she's out there right now, and she needs to hear what you have to say, Jennea, because what you've been through is so important, and it means so much, and I know that Jesus is going to speak through you. So tell them.
Thank you.
You tell them what they need to know about Jesus and what he's done for you.
Well, I would just say, oh gosh, I would just hold her little hands and just be like, girl, I've been there, and you are not alone in your feelings, and how you feel is okay, and you are valued, and you are worth fighting for. And so just don't give up. Just reach out to people. If you're hurting, reach out and don't be afraid to, because there's going to be someone who understands. And find inspiration. You know, like if you feel like you don't understand Jesus and God and what does it even mean, and you never even heard of it before, or you've heard it your whole life and you want to try something new and it feels stale, just find inspiration. You know, find something that gives you joy and follow it. And if you can't find that, find someone who has a passion and a joy, and follow them until you find your own. That's what I would say.
It's so good. You are such a shining example of love and his beauty. You are such a gorgeous person, girl. I love you. Thanks for coming on today. You guys, I am just so happy that Jennea came on today. Make sure you tune in. We have some exciting guests in the future. Thank you for tuning in to the Pink Chair Show. As some of you might already know, I actually have a book called Fallen Out of the Sex Industry and Into the Arms of the Savior. And this is a story, reads like a movie, about my life being sex trafficked on the Las Vegas Strip. And I also have an audio version of it as well. This is recorded in my own voice. And we have the book in Spanish. This is all on Amazon. You can go to our website at hookersforjesus.net. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was we have a ministry called Hookers for Jesus. It's an outreach on the Las Vegas Strip and in the Las Vegas Valley to women that have been sex trafficked. We're always in need of volunteers, but more importantly, to keep this home going, because there's 24/7 care of trauma victims, we need donations. You can go to, if you're interested, to hookersforjesus.net, and you will see the donate button. Just click on that. It'll take you to PayPal or SecureGive. Thanks, you guys.